Let's be real for a second. We need to talk about the elephant in the room, the Attack on Titan ending. It's been months, maybe even years, depending on when you're watching this, and the internet is still burning. You've got one side screaming that Isayama is a genius, and the other side burning their manga volumes, claiming he ruined the greatest story of our generation. It's a mess. It's chaotic. And honestly, it's exactly what this series deserved. If you clicked on this video hoping for me to validate your anger and tell you that the ending was a mistake, or if you want me to blindly praise it as flawless, you're in the wrong place. Here is the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to admit. The reason the ending hurt you, the reason it felt like a punch in the gut, isn't because Isayama betrayed the story. It's because he betrayed your fantasy. You thought you were watching a story about freedom. You thought you were watching a shonen anime where the hero overcomes the odds and changes the world forever. But you weren't. You were watching a tragedy about human nature. And in tragedies, there are no permanent solutions. There is only the cruel, indifferent march of history. So put down the pitchforks. Let's stop looking at what we wanted to happen and start looking at what actually happened. Because the truth, it's far darker than a botched ending. To understand the ending, we have to strip away the titans, the acromens, and the cool ODM gear action sequences. What is the core engine of Attack on Titan? It's the cycle of hatred. For years, the fandom was split. You had the Yeagerists, who believed that total genocide, the full rumbling, was the only way to ensure Paradise's survival. Total erasure of the enemy equals total freedom, right? Then you had the Alliance, fighting for a moral high ground, believing that talking and understanding could pave a path to peace. The brilliance of the ending, and I mean the controversial ending, is that it looks at both of these ideologies and says, you're both wrong. My thesis is simple. The ending of Attack on Titan is an existential statement. It is a declaration that conflict is not a bug in the human operating system. It is a feature. Isayama didn't write a bad ending where Eren failed. He wrote a brutally realistic ending where Eren achieved the only thing that was ever actually possible, a temporary reprieve, a pause in the violence. If you think the story was about breaking the cycle forever, you miss the point of every single arc that came before it. The ending proves that as long as there is more than one human alive, there will be conflict. Let's break this down, because the devil is in the details, and a lot of people missed them while they were busy typing angry tweets. We have to talk about that scene. You know the one. Eren in the paths with Armin, breaking down, crying about Mikasa, and calling himself an idiot. This drove people insane. They called it character assassination. They said that Chad Eren we saw in Season 4 was the real one, and this pathetic guy was a retcon. Here's my take. Chad Eren was the mask. The crying mess? That was the human. When Eren admits he's an idiot who got his hands on power he couldn't handle, that isn't bad writing. That is Isayama deconstructing the great man theory of history. We love to believe that dictators and revolutionaries have these grand 4D chess master plans, but history shows us that most of the time, they are just emotional, broken people driven by childish impulses and trauma. Eren wasn't a god of freedom. He was a slave to his own nature. He had to move forward. He had to flatten the world. Not because it was the logical strategic choice, but because, as he said, he wanted to see this sight. He was a slave to his innate drive for a twisted version of freedom. The ending didn't ruin Eren, it exposed him. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The original chapter release was hopeful, but then Isayama dropped the extra pages for the volume release. We see Paradis years later. It's modernized, skyscrapers, technology, and then we see the bombers. We see Paradis reduced to rubble and ash in a war that happens long after our main cast is dead. This is the most important panel in the entire series. Why? Because it confirms that Eren's genocide didn't save Paradis forever. It just bought them time. Maybe 100 years, maybe 200, But eventually the world came back. Eventually the cycle restarted. If the series ended with Paradis standing tall forever, it would have validated the idea that genocide is a permanent solution. By showing Paradis getting bombed, Isayama doubles down on his nihilistic philosophy. You cannot kill your way to eternal peace. Violence begets violence, even if it takes centuries for the check to come due. And then there's Mikasa. The irony here is sharp enough to cut glass. Ymir, the founder, was a slave to her love for King Fritz. She needed to see someone break free from love to end the curse. Mikasa killing Eren wasn't just a plot point, it was the antithesis of Ymir's existence. It was the declaration that you can love someone and still choose to stop them. It was the only act of true freedom in the entire finale. While Eren was a slave to his destiny, Mikasa broke hers. Now, I know what you're shouting at your screen right now, but Titan script, if Paradis gets destroyed anyway, then everything Eren did was meaningless. The Survey Corps died for nothing. I hear you. It's a valid emotional reaction. But let's look at it logically. Does your life lack meaning because you're going to die someday? Does washing your dishes lack meaning because they're just going to get dirty again tomorrow? This is the trap of result-oriented thinking. If you judge the value of the character struggles solely on whether they achieved a permanent, masterful utopia, then yes, they failed. But Attack on Titan isn't a video game where you win and the credits roll. It's a reflection of reality. In reality, happily ever after doesn't exist. There is only happy for a while. Eren's actions allowed Armin, Mikasa, Jean, and the others to live long, full lives. He eradicated the Titans, ending a 2,000-year nightmare. He leveled the playing field. That is not nothing. That is a massive, tangible impact. The fact that humanity eventually destroyed itself again later isn't Eren's failure. That's humanity's failure. To blame the destruction of future Paradis on Eren is like blaming George Washington for a war that happens in the year 2050. The story argues that fighting for a better tomorrow is worth it, even if next week everything goes to hell. So, what are we left with? Is this just pure nihilism? Is Isayama saying nothing matters, we're all doomed? No, I think he's saying something much more profound. He's channeling Albert Camus and the myth of Sisyphus. We are condemned to push the boulder up the hill. We are condemned to repeat the cycle of violence. The forest that Mr. Browse talked about, the forest of killing and hatred, covers the whole world. But the beauty of Attack on Titan isn't in escaping the forest. It's in the attempt. It's in the quiet moments between the battles. It's in Armin picking up a seashell. It's in Sasha eating a potato. The world is cruel, but it is also beautiful. The ending asks us to accept both truths simultaneously. We fight for peace not because it lasts forever, but because those fleeting moments of peace are the only thing that makes the cruelty bearable. Now, I want to hear from you. This is the most divisive topic in anime, and I know you have a strong opinion. Do you think the bombing of Paradis ruins the story, or does it make it a masterpiece of realism? Did Isayama betray his characters, or did he just hold up a mirror that we didn't want to look into? Don't just say, it sucked, or it was great. Tell me why. Comment your take below. At the very end of the extra pages, we see a boy. He's walking through the ruins of the modern world, accompanied by a dog. He approaches a giant tree, the exact same kind of tree Ymir fell into 2,000 years ago. The Titans are gone. The walls are gone. Eren is gone. But the tree remains. It's the perfect final note. It tells us that the power to destroy and the fear that drives it is always waiting for us. The story of Attack on Titan began with humanity building walls to keep the monsters out. It ends with the realization that the walls were never the problem. The Titans are gone, but the monsters remain. And looking in the mirror, they look just like us. This is Script Titan. Keep moving forward.